Welcome to Bigger Than You, the podcast to help you go from overwhelm, self-doubt and scarcity in your business to the calm, grounded and unshakably confident version of you that's going to bring your vision to life. You've got a mission and a purpose that's bigger than you and your limiting stories and beliefs. So let's get you out of your own way. I'm Jenna Holloway, your host, and multi-award-winning intuitive hypnotherapist and mindset coach. Expect to hear game-changing perspective shifts on how to align your subconscious mind with your boldest goals, and will unlock the power of energetics, infusing it into every aspect of your life and business for maximum impact. Are you ready? Then let's dive in. Hello, thank you so much for joining me again. I am really excited to have a guest on the show today. It's been a while since I've had guest episodes. This amazing lady, she was supposed to be on the podcast back in the summer, but it didn't happen then. And here it is happening today. Welcome to the show, Liz Wilcox. Liz Wilcox is the fresh princess of email marketing, and she's an email strategist and keynote speaker showing small businesses how to build online relationships, package up their magic and turn it into emails that people want to read and, most importantly, purchase from. Welcome, Liz.
Oh my gosh. Hi, friends. I'm so excited for this chat.
I'd also love to acknowledge that Liz has got up and out of bed. It's 6 a.m. her time. So thank you so much for getting out of bed earlier to be here today. I just wanted to let everybody know that I really super appreciate that. Liz, I'm actually a client of yours. I don't know if you know that. I'm in your membership, and I have cultivated a better relationship with people on my email list because of you. So yeah, it's an absolute honor to have you on the podcast to share what I know is your magic with the listeners. But first of all, please could you tell us about your story and how did you come to be doing what you're doing today?
Yeah, so I actually started off a little different than most email marketers, copywriters. I started off as an RV or caravan travel blogger. And when I started my blog, I knew I wanted it to be a business. And so I listened to amazing podcasts like this one, and everybody and their mother said, oh yeah, I just have an email list, email. And I'm nothing if not an efficient chick. So I just went directly into building an email list. And I actually got really good at it. I sold my first digital product. It was just an ebook I made in Canva. I had an email list of about 300 people. I ended up making about $7,000 in the first few months. It got picked up by an international sponsor that paid me to use it as a lead magnet. And it just went from there. You name a digital product, you name a service, I've sold it via email. And when I really knew that I needed to move out of the travel industry and into email marketing was actually when I finally launched the digital course. I did the thing everybody tells you to do, right? I had sold smaller products before, a lot of affiliate marketing in the travel space, and everybody and their mother says, you got to have a digital course, Liz. I said, okay. So I created a course, and, I sent out an email. Hey, are you interested in this course? Like very textbook type of launch. And I had 141 people, click yes, I would love something like that. And so I spent the next few months, building it, sharing about what I was doing behind the scenes. And I did a typical Monday through Friday, open, close cart. And by the end of cart close day, I had made 141 sales. So you can't see Jenna's face, and I can't see your face either. But normally people are like, wow, that's actually impossible. But if you go to lizwilcox.com, you scroll down, you can see I have receipts. Like that's actually what happened. And yeah, when I started, telling my other blogging friends, I had met some copywriters earlier that year. They were like, wait, what? Like, how did you do that? What do you, like, what course did you take? Who are you learning from? Who's your coach? I said, oh, I never bought anything like that before. I'm broke. That's why I launched the course, guys.
I love it so much. It's like you're not being influenced by all the shoulds and how other people tell you to do it, and you are just like literally in your zone of genius doing your thing, and it's magic.
Y'all, that's exactly what happened. And I just realized like, oh, you guys aren't getting it the way I'm getting it. Okay, I know, and I knew I didn't want to be in the travel industry forever, but this was, that was kind of the catalyst of like, oh, I need to sell that business and go all in on email marketing. And we kind of joke like, oh, Liz is the fresh princess because, I just usher in this like fresh take, this like fresh way of marketing. Plus I tend to dress kind of crazy like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air used to. And yeah, so that's how I got into it.
Amazing. Did you have any fears or anything along the way that you've overcome?
So I'll be real with y'all. I'm a very confident person. I honestly don't know if I've ever met anyone more confident than me. But of course, I still have fears. I have fears that, it's going to take too long. I'm going to ruin my relationships. I'm going to destroy my personal life. I, you know, but the fear is never that it's not going to happen. I see people out there who are less talented than me making more money than me. Like I know if I just keep going, it's gonna happen for me. It's
Yeah.
more of that fear of balance for me, that fear of, because y'all, I'm a 0 or 100 type of chick. Like it's all or nothing with Liz Wilcox, which if you go to my website or Google me, you can kind of tell. Uh, and so for me, the fears have always been like, am I doing this for the right reasons? Am I going to be able to do it in time? I have an 8-year-old, and especially in the beginning, when I had a lot of doubters, like, oh, Liz, you should just stay at home. Don't you want to be a mom? And that kind of was difficult for me. And, every once in a while, especially on a bad day, I'll be like, am I wasting my time? I know I could do it, but can I do it in enough time? Am I going to ruin my kid's life? Is she going to forget who I am or whatever? Now all of that is just insanely laughable. My kid loves me so much and I love her and we have a great life. But really it's usually about time. Do I have enough time to do the things I want? Because I'm a very ambitious person, while also, nurturing and, maintaining and growing my personal relationships. Those are my biggest fears. Great question. Y'all need to
Yeah,
pause this
well,
and
it's
leave a
mindset, so I
5-star
always
review.
go there.
That's a great
So,
question.
thank you. So just to kind of check what I'm hearing then, so you recognized that you had the fears, but you just kept taking action. You didn't let them stop you. You knew that you had the ability and you just kept going.
Yeah, listen, there are going to be a lot of other people in your life that are going to be afraid for you. So I would just outsource that fear. Anytime I was like, oh, maybe, I would say, wait, so and so, I won't name names, but we all have those people in our life. So and so is already thinking that. I'll let them be
Yeah.
afraid of that. And I'll let them let that fear stop them from supporting me or stop them from even following their own dreams. So I just outsourced that fear and I just kept going because I knew, remember I mentioned like, oh, is this really worth it? And so that helped me really stay rooted in my values. And that helped me, stay very focused of like, well, if it's going to be worth it, Liz, you can't waste any time. You can't just twiddle your thumbs over on Facebook or, join this Zoom webinar to learn this thing that you probably already know and can do. And so for me, I just let those fears like push me into action because I didn't want them to come true. And so it was like, okay, well, if you don't want the fear of all those, we'll say like haters and doubters, and even, I'm one of those myself. If you don't want those fears to become reality, then you better do something. And that's one of the reasons I chose email marketing, because everyone was saying, for every dollar you spend, you can get $40 in return. I said, well, I only got about $1, so I'm going to try that.
Yeah, it's so good. So yeah, exactly. Like you give the fears away. They're not yours, they're other people's. And I love what you said. It's like, well, they're just projecting their fears onto you and you stayed in your own power. You just trusted yourself and you got on with it. And so like I know how successful you are, but you might be completely new to people listening in my audience. Can you share what you've achieved?
Okay, y'all. Besides pushing out a baby in the business world, so I've been in business, I'm in my 8th year. So I had my first RV travel blog. Actually sold that blog. Y'all, if you have a business, if you have assets, they are sellable. You can sell that thing. I actually had another business where I was partners with a few other ladies. I got bought out of that company back in, I think, 2021. And with lizwilcox.com, with the email marketing thing, I have actually made, I just counted it up. I've made about $1.2 million in 4 years, and it only seems to be growing. And I think the most amazing part of that is I've done it with almost all low ticket products, all organic traffic. I've never run a Facebook ad in my life. I think Zuckerberg has enough money, and I'd rather give it to my friends through like affiliate marketing. And my main offer is a $9 a month membership where I write a weekly newsletter template for you to take and make your own. And I started it in February 2021. So at the time of this recording, it's almost 3 years old. And we have about 4,000 members at this point. I'm really reaching to try to get 10,000 by that 3-year mark. That would be really, really cool. And yeah, the majority of that cash flow, no joke, has come from that little $9 a month membership that could.
Is amazing. Well done, you.
Thank you.
How do you, or how have you managed to grow that? I know you've mentioned affiliate marketing, but was that your main strategy at growing a membership, or was it something else?
Yeah. So have y'all ever heard of that rapper named Drake? Raise your hand if you know who Drake is, right? So back in 2018, especially, which was a few years into business, I just noticed that Drake was everywhere. He was on every song. He was in every commercial. I went to the movies. Drake was there, talking about Sprite, drink Sprite. I turn on the radio. Drake's talking about, his woman leaving him. I turn on the TV. There's reruns of Drake in a wheelchair. Like that guy was everywhere back in the day, right? And I thought, well, that's how I need to market. I just need to be everywhere. And so, especially with the membership and really all my products, I just know that visibility is the most important part. Building your email list, building your membership, selling out your group programs, the more visible you are, the more you're going to sell, right? Like we all know those giant names out there that they just are seemingly everywhere. Now, a lot of those big names, they're seemingly everywhere because they're sponsored ads, right? They got a lot of money to back them up. And especially when I started the business, when I started the membership, I didn't have that much cash flow. I'm a single mom. Like if I'm making money, I'm keeping that money. And so I thought, how am I going to do this? Well, number one, I get on a lot of podcasts. I've grown my business a ton with podcasts. I've done, I think, almost 300 interviews in 3 years. And every time I shamelessly, promote my lead magnet, or if somebody wants to talk about my membership, we'll just promote that. And then what I'm doing is just asking anyone that signs up to become an affiliate. If you sign up, in the PS of that, thank you email, it says, hey, did you know you get 50% commission if you share this with a friend? Sign up to be an affiliate here. So at the time of this recording, I have over 1,000 affiliates. I think about 48% of them have made a sale this year so far. At the time of this recording, Black Friday is coming up. That will probably push us to at least half of them making sales. And, it just went from there. I just knew, the more visible I could become, the better. And how can I just become visible really, really simply? It was like, well, I love to talk. I love to spread my message. And I love to give my friends money. So why not just give them half?
Love that so much. It's so refreshing to hear. So when you were first talking about visibility, if you hadn't said the piece before about you've never spent I was going to say a dime, I'm English, why would I say that? Never spent a pound or dollar or whatever on Facebook ads, like you would just, your brain just would assume that that's what you were about to say next, but like literally never spent any money on Facebook ads. It's just so refreshing and so inspiring.
Yay, y'all. I have a just straight up, I have a deep financial insecurity. I grew up very poor. I mentioned, I'm a single mom. I also support my mom full time. My sister came into my business about 2 years ago, and now she works full time for me. I got a lot of mouths to feed, right? And Mark Zuckerberg ain't one of them. So, like, not to call him out specifically, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like, I needed my cash flow because remember I said if I'm going to overcome those fears, then I need to stay focused. And one of those fears I think for all of us is, oh my gosh, the more money I make, the more money I have to spend, right? Everyone's doing ads, everyone's doing this, everyone's, buying these expensive courses. And for me it was like, I can't do that because my real fear is not being able to bring my family out of poverty. So how can I have a workaround? And I literally just got to work. I'm sure Facebook ads are probably simpler. Jenna mentioned I got up early this morning. I got up around 5:30 local time for this interview to make sure I wouldn't be like scratchy or foggy, you know. But this is what I love to do. Find something that you love to do and then market. If you love talking, if you love spreading your word, like podcasts might be great for you. If you love writing, maybe guest blogging, right? But it really is the best way to grow is just visibility. I always say like list building, sales growth, all of that and visibility, they go hand in hand. They're like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen. You guys remember those 90s twins? Like, sure, they're different. Yeah, sure, they're different, but I really can't tell the difference. So the more visible you become, the more, your business is going to grow.
That's so good. And I love what you said about, well, just, it doesn't feel, you didn't actually say this, but it was the vibe. It doesn't feel like work when you are doing something that you love, i.e. you're in alignment, like you love marketing, I love mindset, like it doesn't feel like work to be, well, maybe getting up at 6 a.m. does, but actually here and now, once you're up talking about this, it doesn't feel like work because you're talking about what you love and so am I. So yay for alignment. Question for you then, Liz, because I actually want like my audience to really get the value of email marketing. Something that I know about you is that you don't actually like to teach storytelling in emails. So what do you teach people if it's not storytelling?
Well, I love what Jenna just said about, like when you're doing it the way you want to do it, it doesn't necessarily feel like work, right? And I just found with storytelling advice, oh my gosh, does that feel like work? Suddenly I'm in my 10th grade English class again. And, Mrs. Miller walks up behind me and starts saying, don't you dare end that sentence that way. And oh my gosh, you said something in the third paragraph that you didn't introduce in the first. And, it just feels really heavy. And like I said, I started as an RV travel blogger. And I just love to connect with people, and chances are you got into business because you want to help people do XYZ, you're passionate about ABC and you just want to find other people that are, in that same, have that same perspective, need those same problems solved. Chances are you didn't get into business to be a marketer, to be a storyteller, to be super interesting. Like you just want to serve the people you want to serve, right? Instead of just trying to serve some algorithm or whatever. And so I advocate instead of storytelling for something I just call personal update. So of course, storytelling connects. I've told several stories on this show already, but here's the thing about a newsletter and email marketing. It's a newsletter, not a novel. So just get in there, get to the point, and get out. People will see that you respect their time, right? If you don't have time to write this email, chances are your people don't have time to read it. And so instead of a story, instead of this long convoluted thing, just share a personal update. 2 to 3 sentences about something you've done since the last time you emailed them. we're trying to turn these followers into friends and then into customers. I call that the email staircase: follower, friend, customer. So if we're trying to turn these followers into friends, what would you say if you were just texting your friend or just shooting them a little email with something that you have a mutual interest about? Hey, I got up early this morning to do a podcast interview. It was amazing. My daughter didn't interrupt me one time. I'm on a roll today. And then you just segue into whatever you want to say. And by segue, I mean, caps lock. Anyway, dot, dot, dot. What I really wanted to talk to you about today is my new blog post, my new podcast episode, a few tips that I learned at this conference, my new recipe, whatever it is, whatever your thing is. And that just takes the pressure off email. It makes it more of what Jenna had pointed out in our conversation of like, this shouldn't feel like work. Because really, email, why I think you should choose email, above all the, oh, conversions, you can get this, you can get that, it's awesome, go, 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 is real connections. You can truly get to know people within email. It's so much different than a Facebook group, than your Instagram stories, your TikTok posts, whatever. Sure, people will DM you, they'll comment on stuff, but within the email itself, we use email so differently. That's where we go to solve problems. I'm looking for my light bill. I'm looking for that, article I wanted to save and get emailed to me. My coach emails me to schedule a time for XYZ, right? That's where we're keeping it's sort of like this external brain that keeps us on the path we want to. That's why we hate spam so much, because it interrupts that pattern of what email is supposed to be, right? And so with email, these people have consented to hear from you. That's how they're using email. And so that's why you can have real connections. You can ask real questions. You can, respect them enough to keep it short and sweet. But then when you really have something to share, you can go long and they will love it. They consented to be in your inbox. Unlike, advertising or something where it's like, I didn't necessarily consent to see that. I just clicked on a bunch of stuff and the algorithm spit this out, right? It's so different than that. And so you can have these intimate connections, especially if you're a service provider or you're trying to sell something high ticket. When you show up, when you show you're invested, when you show you're relatable, when you stay top of mind with email marketing, oh my gosh, it's game over. It's such a game changer. I'm so excited for you to get started.
Yeah, like I just want to come at what Liz has just said from a subconscious perspective, because and really back it up, because what she said about the email or your inbox being an external brain, that we don't consciously make that relationship with our email. It's subconscious and it's feeling based, right? I feel protective over my inbox because I don't want to receive hundreds of emails a day. So if something feels off, I'm like, nope, not for me, I will unsubscribe. So it absolutely feels like a privilege for every single person on my email list that opens my emails, versus people receiving content on social platforms, for example. The feeling that people feel when they open their emails, and you kind of come at it from a connection perspective because you are in Liz's world and you understand and you're learning what she's teaching you. It is I'm just literally just backing up what you're saying from the subconscious perspective. Our actions are driven by how we feel, right? And when we feel that connection, we, like you say, we turn followers into friends and friends into clients. So I completely, just wanted to share that.
I love what Jenna said. And you can even, the proof of that is, how do you feel after spending 20 minutes on social media? Maybe a little frantic, maybe, you got imposter syndrome creeping up, comparison. Maybe somebody popped up that you don't like anymore and they make you feel a certain type of way. But with email, if you spend, this is work email aside, right? Like work email is different, but in your personal inbox with email, you feel a little more in control. I can unsubscribe. I can hit the trash button. It's very simple to navigate, right? And then we always have little goodies, right? Oh, Jenna popped up. Let's read that, right? Or oh, there's a sale. My favorite Etsy shop has just sent me a coupon. Okay, that feels good. Let me bookmark that for later. Let me star that. Let me put that over here. Oh, I don't know where this is. Spam. I'm dropping that in the promotions folder. I'm, marking it as spam. I'm blocking them. We have a lot of control in our inbox. So it feels a little empowering. We don't feel as bogged down. Even in our work email, as long as we get to a few emails that day, it's like, well, I'm done for the day. I accomplished something. With social media, it's such a different, I don't know, as the cool kids would say, vibe.
Yeah, the inbox is calm, isn't it? Because like you say, you have control. If you don't want something there, you just click unsubscribe. You
Totally.
curate it, and yes, you can get to that place. This is what I definitely advocate. You can get to that place with social media, but it takes a lot of self-awareness and intentionality to get your social media feed curated to the point where it only adds value. And that is a constant thing, right? Because of things like suggested posts, they come on your newsfeed uninvited. And yeah, anyways, moving on, I would love to know, just want to kind of squeeze some value out of you a bit more, Liz, for my community, because I so see the value and the power in what you're sharing, and hoping people come and sign up with you. The really important thing that I know to be true about email is that you get the subject line, you nail the subject line, because if you don't create that curiosity, all the work is wasted, right? Because it just will not get read. So what is your top tips for creating a good subject line that makes people open?
Okay, so I'm gonna back up first and say, actually, the subject line is only secondary to the from line. If I get something from Jenna and I love Jenna, I'm not even really reading the subject line, right? We look at who it's from first, right? It's the inbox is the exact same thing as the regular mailbox. You go out to your mailbox, you got a stack of letters. Oh, that's a bill. I don't need to open that just yet. Oh, that's for Johnny. He moved out 3 years ago. Oh, this is from Jenna. Why would you? I can't believe she mailed me something. This is so special. I'm going to open it right away. You throw those other two pieces of mail on the table, you probably forget about them forever, right? They go right in the trash. And by right in the trash, I mean after 3 months of sitting on your counter, right? That's the same thing we do with our inbox. We were just talking about it. We're searching for the thing we really want to see. And so actually our eyes are looking at the from line first. And so if we can get our from line together really quick, which we've already talked a lot about, a little strategy behind that, making sure people know we're invested in them, making sure we're relatable, staying top of mind, that from line eventually will become the primary thing that gets your emails opened. But of course, how do we get there? Well, we've got to have some good subject lines up front. And, you never want to just, phone a friend on the subject line. So to Jenna's point, it is important. So with a subject line, what I want you to do is just write the email first. Don't worry about the subject line. And then reread it to yourself. I mean, I know you're already doing that, 1,001 times, and think like, what is the gist of the email? And if I was just sending this to Jenna and Liz, if I was just sending this to the person that really needed to hear this exact message and nobody else mattered, what would that subject line be? Write the subject line for a friend, right? We're not thinking about SEO. We're not thinking about hashtags. We're not thinking about what does Instagram want me to see? How can I get their attention in, 0.0002 seconds? We're thinking like, if this was written only for that one really good friend who really needs this message today or really needs to see this link or whatever, what would that subject line be? For example, if I was writing an email today for this podcast episode, I would say, are you into the subconscious or something like that? Or, have you heard of Jenna? Question mark. Or, I got up at 5 a.m. for this. All of those create intrigue, but that's really what I would send if I was sending it, to my sister Patricia, or, my friend Justin, if I thought, he was really into this, and it was, maybe even like, saw this on Facebook and thought of you, or, wrote my next blog post for these kinds of people, right? So create a little bit of intrigue, but know that when you write your email, when you write your subject line, you're really just writing it for that one person on your email list. And chances are that one person is probably, there's 100 of them, right? You're never going to nail your message, nail your subject line for 100% of your subscribers. So why not write for that one person? And chances are you have a lot of those one people.
I love that so much. That's such great advice, and it helps to release the pressure. But also, what I wanted to add as well is, I always say that it's not the action that we take that matters; it's the energy underneath the action. And so, when you are writing your email all up in your head, like SEO and how can I get the best open rate, that's first of all, it's like fear based, and it's like I have to get this right. It's a contraction, and it's not, there's no connection in that at all. It's like I have to get this right, pressure feeling. But when you come out of your head and into your heart, and you're like, I'm just writing this to one person, how do I connect with them? That just changes the energy and changes how it feels. And you're coming at it from a place of service, which is why you're doing everything you're doing. So I just, yeah, love that advice so much. And again, it's really refreshing.
I love this. I was so excited to be on this podcast because I so agree. Y'all, it is the energy. Like people, like I got 100% conversion rate. Why? Because I was truly serving, because I so very much, my energy was so positive that I could help those people that said, yes, I need help in this area. And I mean, over and over again, and this is not to brag, but like my conversion rates are, they just blow standards away. And people always ask me, why? And, and we'll say, in layman's terms, I usually say, like, I just truly believe in this. I just know I can serve people. I just know this is like, I feel it. And, you listening to this, you probably know the exact feeling. Even talking about it right now, like my entire like abs, like all my ab muscles are like fired up right now. Like that's the way I feel when I launch a product, when I, have a new idea, because I'm so energetically connected to the people on my email list, everything in my brand, all the words that I write, all the newsletters I send, it just feels right. Anytime it doesn't feel right, it goes real wrong. You know what I mean? Even about a month ago, I wasn't feeling well. I have a lot of food allergies and I was having some flare-ups and I could barely think straight. And I got on the phone. I have a community coach and I said, dude, I've never felt this way. I feel desperate. I feel desperate to make a sale. I cannot be emailing these people right now because it's just not Liz, like I just need a couple days off because I feel so desperate. And he's been working with me 3-4 years. He's like, oh my gosh, you're really not well. And I'm like, yeah, I need to take a few days off or something because I'm about to like implode. It felt like the energy was so strong around me in the negative that I just had to take a step back. But it's so true what Jenna is saying. It really is about that energy and just aligning yourself with those right people. That's what helps you release those fears we talked about earlier. That's what helps you say, yeah, I don't need to listen to as many people anymore because I know I'm for that person. And I know, that person multiplied by whatever, like I know they're out there and I just got to go find them. And we got to find each other. I always say when somebody says, oh, I'm so glad we found each other. I always say, actually, I've been looking for you. I'm glad, or, I'm glad I found you. And so, it's really powerful stuff. Email is so powerful. I'm so excited.
Me too. I love this. I literally feel like we could talk for hours. Well, I was just going to say something then. Oh yeah, I just wanted to share exactly what Liz was saying. It's the reframe to, if you ever feel like
The thing that's coming into mind is being visible on stories, you know, like on Instagram stories, but you can literally apply it to any area of your business, any context. When you feel like, oh, I don't want to show up and sell today because I did that yesterday, or even in email marketing, right? If you're in a launch and you feel resistance to emailing because you only just emailed selling it yesterday. I mean, open to what you say about this as well too, but the reframe from a mindset perspective is you're doing what you're doing to help people and to serve. So you want to reframe from feeling like, oh no, it's not right to show up and sell again today. You want to reframe that too. My people are excited to see me sell because they're excited at the prospect of us working together. And I'm selling in service, because if I'm not selling, I'm not getting to help people. So that reframe for anybody who feels resistance to selling because they've been conditioned through society and anything else that selling or making money and selling is icky, you know, car salesman vibes, like absolutely that is not true for you. And I know that you wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you were in your business to make a quick buck. You are all listening because you have something that you are passionate about, serving and helping people change their lives in whichever format that is. So it's your duty to show up and sell because it's coming from a place of service. So yeah, what do you think, Liz? Do you agree?
I totally agree. I always say products are for serving, not for selling. And I think if you have a lot of that, oh, this is gross, anxiety, I think that's because a lot of people do sell from that point of desperation. You know, like I've got to make my car note this week, right? And I mean, that's just a terrible thing of capitalism, of like having salespeople that, you know, depend on the sale for their meals, right? And so of course they're coming from you know, an act of desperation. Of course it energetically feels totally off, and that's, you know, where our experience of sales is coming from. But I love what Jenna said, like you didn't get into business you know, to be Scrooge McDuck or whatever, right? Like you're in business because you really care about your person. And that's what shifted everything for me, was you know, knowing like, oh, I know there's somebody out there who really needs this information and is going to love this price point. And I just need to open my mouth and, you know, let them know about it. And honestly, especially with email, because y'all can play with it. You can, you know, write email after email after email and really fine tune the way you talk about your offer and the way you talk about your person. And it gets people so dang excited. And so, you know, like Jenna said, I really invite you, if you're feeling that anxiety around sales, like just say like, what, like, why do I feel that? Like what energy has been put in front of me that makes me feel frazzled during sales? And like, you know, but what is the actual proof that that's sales and not just that person's energy? And then you can, you know, you can be in charge of your energy and come from that place of service, and boom, it's over for the competition. Like you're going straight to the top, baby.
Yeah, exactly that. Give it back. Whatever it was, it's not come from you, it's come from somewhere else. So right. I was gonna say something else. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, no, I just wanted to talk on that relationship that you get to build with your email community. And this has come from what I've learned from you, Liz, is that you get such lovely replies because they feel the connection, they feel that you care, whatever it is that you put in your email. If you often, like, you ask for to hear their thoughts, or to, you know, you kind of invite them to reply, but not always. I've got like lovely replies and not invited a reply, but they felt something. That's the key that you've taught me, to get them to feel something, to build that relationship, to nurture it. And yeah, I've just received such lovely replies, and you know, to know that you've made a difference to, you know, somebody, for example, I really needed to hear that today, thank you, or whatever it is. Like, it's really nice to hear that back, you know. Thank
Oh,
you.
I love that. Yeah, you're welcome. Email is one to many, right? I'm sending one email to 100 people or whatever. But really, the key to that connection and the key to someone feeling like, oh, they're showing up and serving, and not just, trying to get their metrics right or whatever, is, just really showing them that you're invested. I'd love to hear from you, like hit reply. I really do read it. And really upfront, like in your welcome sequence, making sure you say things like, ask them a very simple question, a yes or no question. Like, do you write a weekly newsletter? Hit yes or, hit reply, yes or no. And that way, like very much upfront, like, oh, that's a very relevant question. It's not asking me too much. It's not like, what's your email marketing journey? Or how much money have you made? It's a gentle question and it gets people talking. And the key to it all really, like, especially if we're going to talk about energy, the key to like those abundant replies and really feeling incredibly connected to your email list is just when someone replies, it's not about just getting through the inbox. It's about making sure everyone feels seen when they reply to you. And so like really, usually I make a lot of Loom videos, like loom.com. And I'll say, oh my gosh, I thank you for sending over your website. I took a look. Can I offer you some suggestions coming from a copywriter? Oh, this headline is good, but it would be better with this. Or, oh, I noticed your design is a little off. If you can't change it because you're not a designer, don't worry about it. But when you get to that level, just know, it would be better formatted this way or something like that. And just really, again, showing up and serving, like energetically. Sure, that was one video for one person, and I think like y'all will get this, like it feels like it just like 10x's the business,
100% come at it from a service. What can you give? Because we're conditioned to not expect to receive things like that. And so it does feel so genuinely like, wow, that person's given up their time to give that. And they're not expecting anything in return. Like, yeah, that does feel good. And we're not preaching like give away everything for free. That's very different. But when it feels good to, so like always, I think to sum up, always do everything from a place of service. And how you do that, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in the busy, the do, the, all of that. It's always to connect and ground into why you're doing what you're doing and come at your every work day. Like I get my clients to check in with themselves and reconnect every single morning, because then they are connected like that. That's just the key, right? Be connected. And
yeah.
energetically, that's the best thing.
I'll say one last thing. The more that I do that, the more that I spend in my inbox, the more that I write emails from the heart and really, show up and serve. Honestly, the less I have to do. If you look at my social media, I'm very sporadic. Like I'll be consistent with some Instagram reels for like 2 weeks. And then I'm like, actually, I just want to go swimming with my daughter. Like this sucks. Y'all, I work about 4 hours a day. And granted, like I don't take clients. I haven't taken clients in 2 years. And so I do have more time for those replies, but really, and I think you'll find this to be true too, especially with email, the more you just show up and serve, the less you're actually going to have to do. Like I said, I've never run an ad in my life. I'm not in the Instagram DMs all the time. I'm not feeling like I have to post every day in my Facebook group. I don't feel like I have to go to every event or, like pay people to do XYZ. If I just, because we talked, email is just a different like energy. If I just spend most of my energy on email, I find it leads to the most amazing opportunities. And I find that I work even less. So that's the magic of email.
The magic of alignment too, because that's what's right for you, and
totally.
Because you are so in alignment. So it's such an inspiration, Liz. Thank you so much for sharing everything with us, and particularly for getting up so early and being here. How can people find you? And I think more importantly, if they want to sign up for the membership, how can they do that? By the way, I am a client, so I will share my affiliate link if that's okay in the show notes.
Yeah, of course. So definitely check out the show notes so Jenna can get her affiliate commission. I love that so much. And if you want to sign up for my email list and get like a little preview of the membership, and the membership is only $9. I think we mentioned that. So it's, cancel anytime. It's definitely worth checking out. But we talked a lot today about, how to write a newsletter. We talked about subject lines. I mentioned having a proper welcome sequence to get everybody in alignment, up front. I actually give you all those things for free. You can go directly to lizwilcox.com. In the top right-hand corner, there's a hot pink button. You can't miss it. You're going to get an entire welcome sequence already written for you. You can take and make your own. You're going to get 3 newsletter samples. Those are directly from the membership. One to show you how to get people to click, one to show you how to get people to reply, and another to show you how to get people to buy directly from your newsletter. And if that's not enough, I know writing from scratch totally sucks. I'm going to give you 52 subject lines, all for free. LizWilcox.com, hot pink button, baby.
Amazing. Like, I know that people will want to check that out. Some people might, but literally you do not have to. Trust me, guys, it's only $9 and it's amazing. Every single week, a different template that suits like how confident you are writing. And Liz gives you a video to walk you through it. Like, it is, what do they say? Like, dummy proof or foolproof or whatever. It's so supportive. So yeah, just, I want to say as a client, thank you for showing up in my world. I can't even remember how I found you, but when I saw it, I was like, that is an absolute no-brainer as an addition to my business. So yes, I would highly recommend. Thank you again, Liz. Thank you for being here, and it's been wonderful to meet you in, well, I was gonna say in real life, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what everybody does with email. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll speak to you next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Bigger Than You podcast with your host, Jenna Holloway. If this episode has been valuable to you, please share it with a friend or leave a review.